$300 million makeover. The promise is to change downtown Omaha and the Missouri riverfront.
But toxic soil sits underneath some of the parks, and tonight at least one local leader has serious concerns about part of the plans.
Plans that include a children's playground right on top of an old lead factory. KETV News Watch 7's David Earl reports from Lewis and Clark Landing.
The people behind this project want to fill this concrete and grass area with trees to make it more inviting. And they've planned a children's playground for where I'm standing right now. But underneath my feet right now sits tons of toxic soil from the old ASARCO lead plant. And not even the company that poisoned this ground thinks kids or trees are a good idea here. These beautiful images show the future of Omaha's riverfront, an urban beach, trees, a children's playground.
Having that children's playground and the destination playground that it will be will help bring people to the area. Katie Bassett with Mecca is talking about Lewis and Clark Landing, and that children's playground will sit right on top of an old lead plant. The toxic soil was never removed, just buried under a barrier. Within Lewis and Clark Landing, part of that mitigation was having a geosynthetic clay liner, which covers up any of the waste material that's in that area. Here's the mock-up of what it looks like underground. 6 feet of topsoil sit on top of the clay barrier, but keeping the lead-laced dirt in place was always controversial.
I want to make sure my great-great-grandchild and your great-great-grandchild is protected.
That's then City Council member Mark Kraft, an outspoken critic of the city's plan to bury the lead problem in the late 90s.
So yes, it's important.
Today, Kraft sits on the Douglas County Board, and he's worried too many people have forgotten just how bad the ASARCO site was.
I have major concern.
Kraft remembers the agreement spelling out exactly what could and could not happen on Lewis and Clark Landing. Page 2 of the remediation covenant, trees shall not be planted or allowed to grow in any capped area.
There should be no trees on that site unless they're in pots or containers.
Roots are the main concern with trees. The experts at the Morton Arboretum outside Chicago note the majority of a large tree's roots reach 2 feet into the earth. Kraft worries if some of the roots go deeper, they could damage the clay liner holding the lead in place.
We cannot have anything with a root that went beyond 12 inches.
But landscape architects have a different vision, a vision filled with trees and the shade they provide. So KETV News Watch 7 Investigates took ASARCO's rules to Chris Koenig, the HDR engineer overseeing the riverfront redevelopment.
And now ASARCO is defunct, and so the city still owns the property. And so part of what we've been working with the state on is renegotiating those covenants.
Koenig argues the rules were overly restrictive, and Nebraska state regulators seem to agree.
We've met with the state, and they said, okay, it comes back to good science. As long as you can show good science and good engineering, that we can add the trees.
The engineer says the design team is only picking ornamental trees like these that have roots that don't reach deep into the soil. Kraft argues if the company that poisoned the ground to begin with thought any trees were a bad idea, there's probably a reason why.
Should they be disregarded just because that company is out of business? I don't think so.
And if something does happen that compromises the lead containment, well, there's that children's playground, remember?
Why they came up with this exact conceptualization, I don't know.
There are already spaces for children planned among other places in the 90 acres of redevelopment, like at Jean Leahy Mall and Heartland of America Park. Bassett at Mecca argues those spaces need to be everywhere, including along the river.
Really, the design team has done a very thoughtful process on how to spread out those activation opportunities throughout the 3 parks.
I've got grandkids. I'm planning on bringing them down here as well, so no, I've got no concerns at all.
This riverfront redevelopment project is backed primarily with private money. The philanthropists behind this have created a trust with more than $200 million to finance the project, and they've hired Mecca to oversee the construction. But the city of Omaha is involved too. Mayor Gene Stothert has pledged $50 million in bond money to help with the construction at Jean Leahy Mall, Heartland of America Park, and right here at Lewis and Clark Landing. Along the Missouri riverfront, I'm David Earl for KETV News Watch 7 Investigates.